Welcome to Smart Brown Voices, your weekly podcast featuring diverse voices from around the world, giving you insights on how others made it big in their respective fields. Now sit back, grab a notebook, and get ready to be inspired. And don't forget to use hashtag #SmartBrownVoices to share insights, moments of wisdom, and things from the show that inspire you. And now, here's your host, social media nerd and technology activist, Mr. Mike Street.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, it's Mr. Mike Street. We are back with another edition of Smart Brown Voices. Sending shout outs and love to everybody who's been enjoying the show. We are in our 70s range of episodes, so thank you so much for getting us this far. We're working our way up to over 100 episodes of this show. And also make sure you check out some of the other shows that we have on the Smart Brown Voices Network. Make sure you check out the Woke podcast, which has a lot of interesting and thought-provoking shows happening on the Woke podcast. And we are actually in talks now to bring on 2 other podcasts to the Smart Brown Voices Network. So look out for those coming in 2017, probably relatively soon. You'll be hearing from some of the other voices that are going to join this network and share their insights and information. And then I'm also going to be putting out my own kind of daily insights and learnings, because I know all of you guys keep asking me about social media and how to do marketing and everything else. So I'm going to answer all of your questions. So look out for that coming soon. But today we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. As you guys know, I wrote a children's book maybe about a year ago called John's Fabulous Fashion Day. And the counterpart to that book is about to come out pretty soon, hopefully in the next month or so, which is called The ABCs of Fashion. And so today we're going to talk all about the world of children's books. And a troubling statistic out there right now is that diversity in children's book is extremely lacking. When we look at statistics from the Cooperative Children's Book Center, out of 3,400 children's books that were published in 2015 or 16, only 270 of those books were featured African American characters. Only 113 of those featured Asian Americans. Only 83 of those featured Latinos, and then only 42 of those books featured Native Americans. So Veronica Appleton is here to talk to us today about her book, which is called Journey to Appleville. So welcome to the show, Veronica.
Hi, Mike. It's great to be here, and thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to talk about Journey to Appleville, and even more so to your sentiments of children's literature. I love it, and I'm thrilled to talk to you guys about it.
So give us a little bit of an overview of Journey to Appleville. I was enjoying the artwork and all of your characters like Kenan and Tutu and Pedro. So give us an overview of what the book is about.
Yeah, Appleville is a place of opportunity. It's where kids can be who they want to be, do what they believe is right. And as a writer, I believe that it's essential that we tell the story of exploration and of friendship and of triumph and kids accomplishing their goals. So that's what Journey to Appleville is all about. It's about these 6 really awesome kids leaving their local neighborhood to go to Appleville as this place of opportunity where they can see their goals achieved and they can see themselves evolving into who they would like to be. Each child in the book, they have a different challenge. So whether it's Kenan learning how to do different things, or Tutu learning how to do, math and reading and excelling at different things, or even Cassie, who would like to have her own zoo one day. So how do we create stories where children can identify themselves in those stories while still being true to themselves and still being true to their goals? So that's what Journey to Appleville is all about.
So talk to me about why you felt it was really important to, have this book really represent a multitude of cultures, in children's book. Because, again, as we look at those statistics, most of the children's book or most of the characters and heroes are not multicultural characters.
Yeah, you know what? I think as a African American female, as someone who wears their hair curly, natural, I take pride in what I look like, and my family takes pride in what they look like. And it's even more important that children and families take to heart what they look like and see that in literature. So it was very important for me to not only create a book that represented one specific racial group, one specific culture, but all cultures, because I was fortunate enough for my mom to place me in a position where I learned and played with children of different cultures for most of my life. And I appreciated that. I was learning Spanish at the age of 8 or 9 years old. So I think that even my mom at that early stage, she realized the importance of culture and how important it is that I learn how to use technology at an early age, that I get involved in different things so that I am a well-rounded individual. Now, there are certain instances where children aren't as fortunate as that, and so they are in institutions that only teach them about historic leaders that do not necessarily look like them. And it's very important that we reinforce those lessons and reinforce that education in children's literature, because at the end of the day, when a child steps out of school and they step out of their home and they go out into the real world and they are shopping or they're learning on a college campus or they're in corporate America, they are going to be working with people that do not look like them every day. So it's very important that we show that in children's literature, that all cultures exist, while still encouraging them to be proud of who they are and never losing that, and being proud of the way that their hair looks, be proud of the color of their skin, be proud of everything about them. And I think that that's why Journey to Appleville and so many other children's books are very important, because they shape that message. They shape the culture of literature. They shape the culture of creating new opportunities so that when they do go out into the real world, they're as comfortable about their uniqueness as possible.
And your book is also teaching a really important message about being kind and friendly and respectful, no matter, where you come from, what you look like, or who you are. It's teaching about really to embrace, those cultural differences or personality differences. So why was that an important message for you to kind of incorporate into this text?
Yeah, you know what they say, for instance, when you go on a job interview, yes, on resume, you look great. You have the credentials, you have the qualifications, you match from head to toe. But it's the interpersonal communication that you need in order to be successful, truly successful in life. It's that level of respect that you have for people. It's appreciating differences within people. And it's learning how to have a real conversation. So I think that when it comes to those elements of friendship, those elements of exploration, and just being respectful of people, I think that that's a given. And we need to teach that at a very early age so that children, when they go out into that real world, they can have a real conversation with someone. They can have that friendly disposition about themselves so that they are not in a position where they feel like, oh, wow, okay, so this is a person of a different culture. How can I speak to them? How can I treat them? No, we need to learn at a very early age that everyone is the same. We may look a little different, but we're the same at the end of the day. And I think that that's important that we instill that in children and even adults and even in families along their journey of growing. Because when you grow, when you learn, it's all a part of your personal journey. And I think that that's why Journey to Appleville is so important, because everyone has their own journey. It's not even just for children. It's for young adults. It's for teenagers. It's for families of all different types to really see how important it is to be that unique person, to be friendly, to be respectful. So I think it's a well-rounded story that caters to a lot of the different values without saying it, right? Without saying it in the book, giving kids an opportunity to kind of experience this journey to Appleville without banging it in their heads that, hey, you need to be respectful, hey, you need to do this. It's articulating it in a very pleasant way so that they're encouraged to want to get to Appleville, which is AKA that place of opportunity where they can be successful.
So talk to us a little bit about the process of coming up with, the overall book. Where did the big inspiration come from? And, how long did it actually take you to, from that inspiration to putting out the product?
So I penned Journey to Appleville when I was about 20 years old. I am 28 years old right now. So about 8 years ago, I wrote Journey to Appleville, and it was symbolic of my life. It was symbolic of how I went to school with children of different cultures, how I've appreciated my Blackness, and how I've been happy with who I am. And I wanted to create a story that represented not only my life, but the people I've encountered over time and the challenges that I've seen in different characters and different people that I've met. So I wanted to create a story that represented that. And I also wanted to create specific identities for the characters in the book. So each of the characters, Liu-Liu, Kenan, Susie, they each have their own story, they each have their own challenges, similar to the things that we see in real life. And when I wrote Journey to Appleville, it was a very long process of not necessarily writing, but really getting the book published. It was a very hard time, really pushing forward and saying, hey, to these publishers and to these agents that I really love what I do, please consider my work. I was rejected about over 70 times from different publishers, and it wasn't always successful, but I didn't want to give up because I feel like Appleville is symbolic, again, of my life and that journey that I'm trying to take. And so I wanted to really push forward, and then I finally, in 2016, I connected with Mascot Books, located on the border of Metro Washington, D.C. They love the book. My illustrator, Lisa Payneborn, she did an amazing job with the illustrations, really creating those identities, and just went for it. And I'm so happy that the book is resonating with so many children and so many families, because that's what it's really all about. I didn't write this book to say, hey, I wrote a children's book. I wrote the book so that it can make kids believe that an Appleville exists, that opportunity exists, that I can be successful. Because if we see so many messages in the news and gun violence, and we see so many different things happening in the world, we can change it just within our personal lives of going to school and being successful, building our own careers, like you, Mike, writing your own children's story. There are so many different things that we can do and be successful with, and it's just all about finding your own journey. And that's why I believe that Appleville is so important when it comes to children's literature.
And also, not waiting for, someone to give you permission to do what you want to do. Like, we didn't wait for permission to start this podcast or write a book or any of the other things that I've been working on. And so I think if you have a goal, go out there and do it. You get, like one of the things I've been working on is making more mobile apps, and I've had past guests come on the show to help me with that, give me your insights, so don't wait for permission. Go out there and do it.
I agree with that 100%, because when you have a goal and there's something that is keeping you up at night, there's something that wakes you up in the morning and you are happy about it, and it's easy to you. It comes natural. I think that that's what's so important. And I remember Bill Cosby, he actually had a quote that I really love. When something comes easy to you, that's what you're supposed to be doing for the rest of your life. And he said that comedy came natural to him. And that small piece of positivity from him, it made me really, really think about my life as a whole, how school is important to me, how teaching is important to me, how children's literature is important to me. So what are some of the things that I can do? What are some of the things that kids can do if they're interested in STEM and they're interested in any form of engineering or architecture or drawing? They can do it, and it may sound very cliche, but when you put your mind to something, you can definitely do it. And I think that that's the message that we need to send to all children, whether they are in a homeless shelter, they are adopted, they are in school. whatever the situation may be that a child is in, we need to just reinforce that positivity that they can be great. And that's what's so important. There's children without fathers or without mothers in their lives. And yes, it's very important to have that. And me being raised from a single mother, I think it's even important that we instill that and we have parents that believe in their children and can say that despite any circumstance that you're in, you can be successful. And that's the key. It's beyond Appleville. It's beyond Journey to Appleville. It's the necessity of being a human being, that drive, not waiting for someone to tell you what to do.
Awesome. Well, everyone, please support this amazing children's book. The illustrations are really nice, and we're going to drop a couple of them in the show notes so you can check it out and support, amazing work like this, because it's really needed, especially when you hear those very troubling, statistics about how there's just not enough representation. And, we're seeing that across the board and other, spaces as well, from technology to movies to theater. We have to go out there and not wait for permission to tell these types of stories. So please support Veronica Appleton's Journey to Appleville. And Veronica, let us know how we can reach you across the internet.
Yes, thank you so much, Mike. You can reach me on my website, my children's website, at applevillebooks.com, or you can reach me on Facebook at Appleville Books, or Twitter at my full name, Veronica Appleton, or even Instagram. So I am reachable in any form. And even if you'd like to email me, I can be reached at veronicaAppleton@gmail.com.
Awesome. And look for Journey to Appleville. It's on Amazon, Bartles and Nobles, and should also be in your local Target and Hudson News. So definitely pick up the book now.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Mike. This is great.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for checking out this episode, and we hope that this inspires you to tell your story. If you have a kid's book living inside of you, put it down on paper, find an artist, and get it out there. It was a really rewarding experience for me to put together, our first kid's book, and I can't wait for you guys to see all of the fun illustrations that we have. There's a cameo from Prince and our second book, which is called The ABCs of Fashion. So that's going to be coming out within the next probably 2 months once we get it up on Amazon. So definitely support people of color who are putting out amazing work, like Journey to Appleville and like John's Fabulous Fashion Day. All right, peace out.
Thanks for listening to Smart Brown Voices with your host, Mr. Mike Street. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll leave a review on iTunes and tell your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts, and make sure to follow us on social media. This has been a Mr. Mike Street production. Join us next time for another edition of Smart Brown Voices, and be inspired.